All right, so we're going to talk about Impact Wrestling real quick. This is, while we were on the air entertaining you, Impact Wrestling was happening, as it does every week. First match was Josh Alexander, Suicide Willie Mack, and Trey Miguel, who is no longer with the Radicals / MSK because he stayed while they left, versus Ace Austin, the wrestler I hate the most, Chris Bay Davari, and Blake Christensen. Trey Miguel defeated Blake Christian by submission for his team. Good job. Sammy Callahan does this teleportation thing where he plays with the internet and pops up. And he tells...
It's 9 o'clock, love.
He tells Sammy Callahan, he tells Trey Miguel that, yep, you couldn't hack it, so you stayed here, and I don't know, he's just trying to mindfuck him. It's Tommy Dreamer's 50th birthday, so Impact wrestlers all, including ODB, wish him happy birthday. Second match, Kimberly versus...
Jesus.
Kimberly with Deonna Purrazzo.
There's some points.
Versus Susan and ODB.
Speaking of which, looks like you're going to get some points possibly coming up here in the future with Johnny Mundo's lady.
Kimberly won that with a roll-up after distraction. And then what feels like a WWE show, this is all backstage segments. Swinger's Palace. Johnny Swinger brings in Fallah Bahh, who tries to pay for his game with a cookie. Susan's not happy about the chaos involving ODB, so she wants to sort it out with Scott D'Amore. Purrazzo is also not happy, so Deonna Purrazzo backstage segment. Cousin Jake, which is one of Diener's.
Yeah.
He thought he had it all figured out with his cousin, but yeah, he can't be into his family again, so now he's just going to be Jake something. Later on in the pay-per-view, it was Jake something versus someone else. Who the hell is Jake something? Eric Young has a new stable called Violent by Design. So Eric Young is...
Why does Eric Young keep needing stables? He's so good on his own.
He's got charisma. Rohit Raju is pissed off that he lost the match to Manic. Because...
You know what? It's probably good that he went there and did that because because they had nothing for him, he would have been stuck with Retribution. Eric Young would be in Retribution had he stayed in WWE.
True.
I guarantee you in Earth 619, that's what Eric Young's doing right now.
But the problem is he was so great with his stable in NXT.
Yes, he was. He was great in when they...
Yeah. Anyway.
Fuck it.
So
yeah, move on.
Yeah, so Rohit Raju's mad that TJP had to use his Manic...
He'll be in our over-underrated section of the show that we do in a couple weeks here.
So he wants a match again. Tony Schiavone and Tony Khan do their paid advertisement, which is apparently the funniest part of Impact. They talk about the Forbidden Door being open, which is the door to New Japan Wrestling, which is why Kenta showed up.
The Forbidden Door?
They're calling it the Forbidden Door because, in wrestling you weren't supposed to walk through interpromotional things, so they call it the Forbidden Door. Yeah, Forbidden Door to me means something completely different.
Speaking of which, didn't you hear that, I guess Cody has said that AEW is open to a WWE crossover?
I do have that in my notes to talk about.
All right, moving ahead.
So
you can tell how much I don't care about Impact.
James Storm and Chris Sabin's, their faction is now called Beer Guns.
They did that already. They already did that when the Machine Guns and Beer Money teamed up together, and they were called Gun Money.
Now they're Beer Guns because they have the money is in money's with Dolph Ziggler now in SmackDown.
Why? Look, homie.
Kiera Hogan.
This is where you wanted to be. Like what they said. He's scared of his own success, so he's right back where he was 12 years ago.
Kiera Hogan.
Impact, fuck it. Just Kiera Hogan, who's not a Hogan.
We're getting lots of likes, yes, because she's... Kiera Hogan versus Nevaeh with Havoc.
Which is heaven, spelled backwards for every trailer park trash baby that was born in like the mid-2000s.
Nevaeh wins by disqualification. Then AEW does a happy 50th birthday to Tommy Dreamer. And MJF says he can't wait to watch him croak in the ring. And then everybody else has really nice things to say, including Chris Jericho. And MJF just keeps busting.
Well, yeah, because Jericho was...
I will say this. MJF, whether it's an autograph signings, whether it's in front of the child of the father whose life they're eulogizing, he never breaks character.
Oh no,
There's pictures of him flipping kids off at photo shoots on the internet that have got just. MJF believes in kayfabe.
I think I talked about this here before when Cornette talked about it. He's like, he rode with him at an MLW show and was talking about how they're in this weird backwoods, middle of nowhere, like hillbilly, upstate Michigan style town, and he's just healing it up with the crowd. And like Cornette said, for the first time since like the 80s, he thought he was going to get shot because this guy was just such a prick to the audience.
So,
I love MJF. I hate who stole him. Did your dad steal him, or did Ron steal him?
That's mine.
You stole him. Oh, you bad! And then you fucked me on Ciampa.
All right, so
gentleman's agreement. You see how gentlemanly he is.
I don't remember an agreement. Larry D says he's got someone to take care of Rosemary for them, and her name is Tennille Dashwood.
Oh, Dashwood showed up?
Yep. Decay is reformed, kinda, because I don't know if you remember Decay, Rosemary, Crazy Steve, and what used to be Abyss.
Oh,
Abyss is writing for SmackDown, so they got a guy named Black Taurus from AAA.
Speaking of which, can we talk, when we get to Monday, remind me to talk about what AJ said.
Yeah, oh yeah, I will.
Okay.
So Black Taurus...
He won't. We always say when we, don't forget this, and then we forget.
Black Taurus defeats Caleb with a K.
Stupid name. Stupid Black
Brian
Taurus.
Myers.
Good name.
Brian Myers pays off Hernandez for what he did last week. And then you have the main event, the Good Brothers versus Beer Gun.
I saw that the Good Brothers are getting their Super 7 action figures with a couple other people for it. So
the Good Brothers win by disqualification. At the end of the match, Matt Hardy and Private Party come in and attack.
Wait, they won by DQ?
Good Brothers by DQ because Matt Hardy and Private Party came in and jumped James Storm and Chris Sabin.
Okay.
Matt Hardy really wants those belts, so he tells his boys he'll give them a bonus if they win the match. Scott D'Amore adds now it's a three-way match for the pay-per-view. Then at the very end of the night, you have a contract signing. Rich Swann says that he knows he could wrestle anybody he wants to, but he wants to do this for Tommy Dreamer's 50th birthday. He respects him. And then here comes Moose. Moose says, "Why are you hiding behind a..."
I'm already exhausted. This is like 50 things that happened all at once.
Well, this is the Go Home show.
Okay, yeah.
They don't have it. They can't split over two brands.
So what? Go home to what? 100,000 people watch your show. I guarantee you their pay-per-view buy rates is somewhere in the vein of like 3,000.
They're still charging $40 for the pay-per-view.
I guarantee you it's in the realm of zero.
I think you might be able to watch on their streaming service. I don't know.
-1.
So.
Oh wait, he's on the other show.
He's on Fight Network. So basically, if Moose gets involved with the match, he'll be indefinitely suspended for the rest of his career.
Because that has always worked. That stiff has always worked. I bet he comes back as the Midnight Rider, baby. You never know who the Midnight Rider is until he rides in at midnight.
So, yes.
God, they fucking just murderized Dusty's name on this stupid Dusty Cup, didn't they? Anyway, so moving on.
So from there, we're going to go to AEW.
Oh, Jesus Christ, AEW. Okay.
Look.
There's just so much this week, isn't there?
You start off with the TNT Championship, Darby Allin versus Bad Boy Joey Janela.
Why did you remind me that this was going to be a thing?
Dave gave it 3.5 stars.
Dave can suck.
So we start the match with Excalibur discussing Allin and Janela's history against one another into the Independents.
Who gives a flying fuck?
Allin goes for a springboard coffin drop, but Janela actually catches him in the midair and gets a German suplex and then a super kick. It looked really nice. It was the first thing I've ever seen Janela do. They go, "Oh, he looks like a wrestler."
Well, you know what? They're Spider-Man. Everybody gets one.
Right. Janela feels like he's gotten ahead. So he's like looking over at the belt that he wants, and then of course, Allin gains his composure, connects with a series of strikes, hits him with the hammerlock STO, and then into the coffin drop for the pin. Still champion Darby Allin, no Sting at the match.
Oh, I guess Sting had the week off for his contract.
Excalibur pointed out that last week Team Taz said they were going to interfere with the match. They did not show up. It was a decent. I wouldn't give it a 3.5 star match. Darby Allin obviously is a good wrestler, but
Darby's good. It's just this is dumb. Joey's awful. He doesn't need to have a job, and the fact that No, you have a job. Your job is to tell me what
Okay,
show we're doing next.
John Moxley backstage saying Conte has been calling him out for months, so he can't wait to beat his ass when they face each other. But for tonight, it's just going to be for fun because they have a match together.
So that's why Moxley kept talking about, don't forget, I'm still this champion.
Sammy Guevara drags a cameraman into the Inner Circle locker room. All right, the payoff.
Oh, God, I saw this.
So you already saw how it happens. He tells the other guys that he wants some time with MJF.
Home.
So he tells the other guys he wants some time with MJF. Sammy tells MJF he knows he's trying to take over the Inner Circle. MJF's like, look, you got it all wrong, dude. We just need to all get along. You need to get on board. This is all you're just jealous because Chris likes me more now, and then basically he gets Sammy to say, yeah, he's pissed off at Jericho. He doesn't like what Jericho's doing, and then he's recording it the whole time with his phone. Sammy catches that, takes his phone, smashes against the wall, and punches him in the stomach, and then beats him up. And I was like, okay, that didn't go quite the way I thought it was. I thought he was going to be a little more swarmy about it, but he wasn't being super obvious that he was recording it. So
yeah,
I'm like, okay, did they ruin this? But we'll see what happens coming up. Then we have the Nightmare Family. Lee Johnson makes his debut as part of the Nightmare Family. Lee Johnson is 0-29 in his AEW career. You haven't heard of him because he does all of the dark shows.
No. I have heard of this man.
Oh, I had not.
And the reason I've heard of this man is because you informed me about him around our second show when you told me about this guy on the dark show who had never won a fucking match.
Oh, okay.
So yes, because of you, I know who this is, and now I'm even less interested.
So they're going to fight Caesar Bonoy and then Pretty Peter. Basically, Cody lets Lee win the match. So he has his first match win as part of the Cody family. I don't understand. This made no sense to me. This must make sense somewhere.
I have to remember that we're doing a live video show, but we also are going to cut audio into a audio-only format for it. So when you hear me just go blank for a few minutes, guys, who are
He's rolling his eyes.
It's me hardcore rolling my eyes into the hallway.
The Rhodes family's been my new family, so now I've got to win after 29 matches. Backstage, we got the Bucks being approached by...
Everybody's got to start nowhere.
The Bucks and the Good Brothers are talking about, hey, how come you screwed us last week in the paper, in the big battle royal? And he's like, no, dude, you got it all wrong. You screwed up. We wanted you to win, We wanted it to be us versus you guys, and we could just wrestle each other for the belts. And, as you like to say, jack each other off.
I don't like to say it, but I do. I don't have thoughts about other men doing things to other men.
The Good Brothers want to do a 2-sweep, but Matt says they'll only do it off camera.
And there's nothing wrong if you have those
All right,
thoughts.
backstage, we have Adam Page. Remember, you picked him up.
I picked Adam Page up. I was like, tell me what points I lost.
He once again reiterates to Matt Hardy, I'm not going to be a team. He's like, I get it. Don't worry about it. I'll tell you what. Let's go get a drink. Let me buy you a drink. And
oh, God, no. Matt does not need to fall off the wagon. We saw what happened to him.
I thought it was just Jeff.
No, Jeff and Matt are both really bad.
So let's go get a drink. So he says, all right. And on their way to the bar, they run into... This was the most awkwardly cringeworthy thing I've ever seen in my life. They run into not the Inner Circle, the Dark Order.
That was like the Dark Order.
And they're like, oh, hey, what's going on? I'm just going with the... We're just going to go It was like... Look, you weren't in a romantic relationship, and it's not awkward that you're seeing with another man.
I've literally had this play out in my real life of my ex-girlfriend and my current girlfriend both out on dates with her new boyfriend and me with her cross paths, and it's just the most awkward thing that you can ever
so that's basically what you could see happen.
Yes.
So you were Eskimo brothers?
I mean, yeah, but it definitely is one of those points where it's like, are they fucking? Is that what they're implying here?
All right. So then
apparently Adam Page is just good for everyone.
So then we have the Bastard.
He got me 2 points.
With Rey Fenix versus the Hollywood hunk, Ryan Nemeth.
Okay.
Poor Dolph's brother did not deserve the things that happened to him in this match.
I saw his face. after this, and the only thing I could think of was I started to read an article that said Dolph Ziggler addresses what happened on AEW, and I was just going to be like, oh, I hope Dolph is just like, well, should have signed a contract over here.
Pac, I don't care who you are, Pac's going to hurt you.
Yeah, Pac will wreck you. Ooh, so I got tons of points this week for AEW. Thank you. Because Darby was in a match. Darby won. Darby defended.
So then we go back to the we see the recap of the wedding, and then we see Chuck and Orange Cassidy sitting in the hospital room next to Beretta, because he's out legit. And then he's like, Orange Cassidy sarcastically asked, "What'd you think was going to happen? What'd you think was going to pop out of the cake? Ha ha ha!" Internet smarks. So then we have the Inner Circle, Jericho and MJF versus the Acclaimed, your favorite rappers.
Can we just move past this?
And Sammy, Chris Jericho's like, "Sammy, what's going on? I got my ribs. Sammy hurt me. He broke my ribs." So because Chris Jericho wasn't watching his own show.
Because who does?
He thinks his ribs are broken.
Chris Jericho is not one of the 600,000 people who watch the show.
Caster, one of the Acclaimed, tries to tag in, but MJF lays him out. Hager pushes Caster off of the top, gets a Judas effect for the win. Jericho wins via pinfall. Sammy Guerrero comes out afterwards. This is where this is going to start getting important. So Sammy Guerrero comes out, and Jericho's, "Dude, what the hell? You're 20 minutes late. Nobody's seen you." He's saying you busted his ribs, you broke his phone. What the hell's going on? And Sammy goes, "I told you in the beginning. I told you at the very beginning of this that if you were going to let this dude worm his way in here, I wasn't going to handle it. I'm not doing it. I quit. I'm done. I don't want to. I'm going to focus on me now. We're done. This whole thing, done."
Yeah, I caught this.
So then he storms off, and Jericho's like, "What's going on?" And MJF's like, "Surprise!" And I'm like, this isn't the way I thought. This isn't the way we wrote it.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens.
Well, yeah, because they watched our show and decided that they couldn't let us be right.
So now we're gonna stop at the show for just a quick second, because what was supposed to happen, what didn't happen. So they wrote for the next thing Sammy was supposed to do was show up on Impact this week.
Yeah. But
so he gets there, he's on his way there, and he's like, "Hey, I'm not a big fan of the angle you want me to do. So can we talk about it when we get there?" He shows up, gets to the ring, leaves 45 seconds later, gets back on the plane and flies back to thing. Because basically Impact's like, "We were told this is what you're doing. We don't have something else for you to do. So thanks for wasting our time."
I heard about this.
So Sammy has got some heat on him from AEW. He's got some heat on from Impact because now he's not wanting to play along with the thing. He's like, "Look, what that was going to do nothing for my career, and it's not worth it." So
because hitting Matt Hardy in the face with a chair did so much for you.
So basically
you're on thin fucking ice as it is anyway with a lot of people. I think sometimes everybody wants to think that they have like Austin or Hogan creative controllability, because we've heard it talked about for so long, where they can just come out and be like, "This doesn't work for me, brother. You know what, brother? You ain't a brother, and you need to sometimes just shut up, do your job, cash your check, and be happy that you're employed during COVID in a profession where you're a dime a dozen if you think about it, but there's not a lot of you running around right now. You can be replaced just like that, dude. You
are a pretty dude, but you're not that pretty." So apparently he went on his own social media, because AEW allows you to do that. And there's pictures of him doing snow angels in the snow with just shorts and a t-shirt on him. And his girlfriend's like, "Dude, what are you doing? Are you crazy?" He goes, "I got so much heat on me right now. This isn't even cold."
Now the question is are they working an angle? Is this an angle because everything in wrestling's an angle, or did he piss somebody off and now they're going to work it into an angle because he pissed somebody off and they're like, sure, But I mean, realistically,
well, Uncle Dave says,
do your fucking job.
Uncle Dave says that what they had, according to his sources, what they had planned for him was not going to further his career, so he probably made the right choice. But at the same time, if you're employed, do what you're told.
Does this further your career? Did that do anything for you?
So then we get back to Page and Hardy in the back drinking. More points. Hardy is shown throwing his drink over his shoulder. He's not drinking.
You know, if there's any one person on this show who I guarantee you doesn't watch the show, it would be Hangman Page. Like, he is the only one that makes sense of, you didn't see blah, blah, blah happen last week?
But here's the thing that's interesting.
Okay.
He's like, you know what? Let me just pretend to be drunk. He's like, just let me help you out. Here, it's just this little contract right here. I want to... Just 30%, and so why don't you? Let me worry about you.
You dirty bastard.
So he's like, "You want to take care of me? Awesome, let's take care of me." And so apparently he's like, "You got a pen?" He's like, "Yeah, let me get a pen." I didn't catch this, but a bunch of eagle-eyed viewers on the show say that when Hardy's reaching for his pen, Paige swaps the contract on him.
Because Paige is an alcoholic, and he probably knows what's up. So if that is the case of what they're doing, this is even better, because I was honestly thinking that it's like...
That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's good. It fits in his character for doing something like that. And truthfully, it's one of these things where I've never really understood it, where it's like... They do this contract under, like... subterfuge kind of style stuff, and then it like stands, and anybody who's ever seen this is just like, nah, that shit's illegal, bro. You're out of that contract.
You can't make someone sign a contract when they're drunk, and you have a videotape proof of him being drunk signing a contract.
Anyway, moving on. So
Tony
good
Schiavone,
on you, Paige. Yeah.
Tony Schiavone.
So technically, would that be that he beat Matt? So do I get points for him?
No, it's just a backstage thing.
Ah, damn it. Okay.
Tony Schiavone welcomes Sting to the ring. Let's talk about
Did it snow?
Yes, of course it snowed. Taz is shown in the parking lot.
I just imagine there's that girl from Breakfast Club up there just like rubbing her hair in the dandruff just falling down it. Yes.
So, apparently, Team Taz has Darby beaten up in the back. They throw him in a body bag that's chained to the back of a truck and drag him out of the parking lot.
Oh, God.
So, there was that.
Sting... I hope it was worth it.
I hope
it was worth it.
Next, we have one of my favorite segments. Earlier today, Alex Marvez approaches Kenny Omega while he's playing golf on the golf course.
I don't want to hear anything about Kenny Omega. I hate him now.
So
I loved you so much, and I hate you.
Women's first match of the Women's World Championship Eliminator Tournament. Legit Layla Hirsch from Russia versus Thunder Rosa. This match should have been on fire.
Yeah, because Thunder Rosa is fucking great.
And so is Layla Hirsch. Who's almost as tall as Kayla. She's just barely taller than
I don't know enough about her. I haven't seen much of her.
She's done it. At one point in time, Rosa did deadlift Hirsch up and slam her onto the mat. Other than that, the match was 2 stars at best.
Was it just two people who never worked together?
I think they worked together. Their last match was better. Okay. I don't think they had a lot of time.
Right.
Then we have the Japanese matches are happening on YouTube, and apparently there's some wackiness in those matches. Jungle Boy.
It's got to be hard as a company, and I don't mean to cut off for a second, but if you think about it, with all the content that we've got, we have to go through. It's got to be difficult as a company to make sure that you're hitting your network, you're hitting your YouTube, you're hitting your Twitter, you're hitting your this, you're hitting your that. That you're all over the place at the same time, and then have a show next week that's all over the place too. It's got to be very difficult.
Jungle Boy says he's going to make Dax Harwood his bitch.
No, you won't. No, you will not. I am sorry. You are in 90210 Dream Street, homie.
Did you watch that match yet?
The big...
Their match?
No, I actually hadn't got to watch... Okay. I apologize. I told you I wouldn't. I lied.
Oh, that's right. I haven't watched any of the matches you told me to yet.
Fine. So not even one fucking Undertaker match from our second fucking show.
Main event. Kenta versus the Cleaner, Kenny Omega, versus the Death Rider, Jon Moxley, and the Murder Hawk Monster, Lance Archer. Everybody gets a nickname except for Kenta.
4-way? So Kenta's just Kenta.
Kenta and Omega versus Moxley and Lance Archer.
I feel like I should have drafted Kenta because he was technically on the board when we closed out our voting polls.
Kenta immediately hits Moxley with the briefcase, but Archer goes after Omega. Kenta hits Archer with the briefcase, but Archer just shrugs it off. Archer's like, get out of here.
Okay.
Archer does this great, he does a no-sell that works. Dude, seriously? The match was really good. It really was. It was a garbage. It was a garbage match where everybody was all over the place.
But so far, we haven't had any garbage match on the show, right?
Right.
So having the big smodge between four guys who legit have issues with each other. That now, granted, I don't think you should do a big garbage match like that on television because how do you then have a wrestling match on your pay-per-view? You know, when you come back.
Of course, Uncle Dave sucked off for 4 1/4.
Of course he did, because Dave's on fucking retainer. We know this. Has he ever given any AEW match below 2.5 stars? Even shit that had Riho in it, he said was good.
He only rated the 2 matches. He did rate an NXT match, which I'm going to love to hear your question.
Oh, God.
I'm going to love to hear what you have to think about this.
All right. We'll hurry up and we'll get there.
Yep. The Good Brothers grab Archer and hit the Magic Killer on Lance Archer.
I bet that looked cool.
Omega hits the V-trigger on Archer afterwards. So as soon as he comes down from the Magic Killer, straight into the knee to the face.
Oh, okay. It's fine to murder Lance Archer because he's a big sumbitch.
And then Omega tries to do the one-winged angel on Lance Archer.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Kenny could do it. He's like fucking Goldberg. It's like, how did he get that guy up?
He did it when the Good Brothers put him up on his shoulder.
Okay.
They basically had to murder Lance for about 10 minutes before they could weaken him enough to...
So, but here's the question in this garbage section of the match.
Omega wins via pinfall on...
What laid Moxley out? Because here's the thing.
Him and Kenta never came back after beating the shit out of each other on the other side of the...
Okay.
So they kind of went off to their own world.
I'll buy that because a lot of times in these styles of matches, you have this big issue like where a guy takes a nut shot or something and then he's just dead for 15 minutes while they do shit.
They weren't even around.
Okay.
Jake got at one point in time, Jake got another clothesline in, which is pretty cool. Jake's been, trying to be a little more.
That's good.
Yep.
DDP yoga, man.
DDP yoga is worked for him, and it's hopefully going to work for me because I started doing it. So overall, the show was about 2.5. They're getting ready for their pay-per-view. They tried to set some things up for the IMPACT pay-per-view. They're trying to set up some things for the Japan. The thing with AEW right now, and as you mentioned a little earlier, AEW is trying to really go back to the old school ways of territories. Here's my territory. Let me borrow a couple of your people. You can borrow a couple of my people and just borrow.
I don't know if I'd say that's what they're doing. But
that's the thing I read.
They're
Cody's wanted to try to go back to like a, he goes, and he did say, and Vince McMahon Sr. did borrow from territories in the past.
Well, yes, Senior did, and Senior. Well, that's the thing is that Vince Jr. is the one who fucked it all up. Right. And there's plenty of content out there that goes through that. But Senior loaned out the Giant. He loaned out Bruno, who did not travel very far because Bruno was just there. But Bruno went to other places. A lot of the people like Pedro went other places. The Giant. That was the big thing. Is hey, I want to bring up. I don't know.
I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to say this on February 16th of 2001 at almost 9:28 p.m. That after Vince Jr. passes and Triple H takes over when Triple H takes over the company, within a year, him and Cody will be sharing business.
I say no to that.
Okay, let's see.
I disagree with that. Anyway, moving on. What show's next?
NXT.